When you begin to understand the power of silence, you also begin to understand the value of your own peace. Sharing your personal life with others might feel like a form of release, like you're offloading weight that's been resting on your chest. But more often than not, you're giving away more than just your thoughts. You're handing over pieces of your inner world to people who may not know what to do with them, or worse, people who may twist them in ways you never intended. Your peace of mind is sacred. It's the quiet strength that guides your decisions, keeps you balanced, and allows you to reflect with clarity. But the moment you start to scatter your personal experiences across casual conversations, coffee tables, and online posts, you chip away at that peace. You're inviting voices into spaces that should be reserved for your own counsel. Every opinion you didn't ask for, every judgment disguised as concern, and every assumption made in the absence of true understanding, it all begins to erode your sense of calm. Now, understand this, not everyone you speak to is against you. Most people are not malicious. But that doesn't mean they're meant to carry the details of your life. You may feel compelled to share when you're going through something, be it a relationship struggle, a family issue, a personal failure. But if you do, you must ask yourself, what are you truly gaining in return? Sympathy, a temporary sense of connection, validation. These things are fleeting. And if your peace depends on them, you'll find yourself constantly chasing reassurance from people who have no responsibility to give it to you. That is not strength. That is a silent form of dependency. And it leaves your inner world vulnerable to disruption. When you keep your personal matters to yourself, you give yourself room to process without pressure. You allow time to reveal the truth, the lesson, the next move, without the noise of someone else's expectations or doubts clouding your mind. What you protect in silence, you strengthen, and what you expose too early, too casually, too often, you weaken. Let me tell you something that has never failed me. A person who is silent about their battles wins quietly. They carry themselves with a calm that others can't quite figure out. That mystery isn't accidental. It's the result of choosing to guard what is sacred. And what is sacred is anything that touches your soul, your dreams, your fears, your struggles, your family, your plans. These are not meant to be placed in the hands of every person who offers a listening ear, especially not in a world where most people listen to respond, not to understand. There is power in restraint. There is power in being misunderstood and choosing not to correct it. There is power in knowing more than you say and observing more than you react to. That power doesn't come from ego. It comes from discipline. And discipline breeds peace. The next time you feel the urge to share something personal, ask yourself, is this helping me heal? Or is this just giving my discomfort a temporary place to land? Are you speaking from a place of clarity? Or are you venting because you're hoping someone else can solve something only you are meant to figure out? We must learn to sit with our discomfort long enough to understand it, because in that stillness, answers arise, strength builds, and peace settles in. You do not need an audience for every chapter of your life. Some things are meant to be experienced in solitude so you can grow through them without interference. When you treat your personal life with reverence, the world begins to treat you differently. You stop attracting chaos. You stop inviting drama. You begin to command quiet respect without ever having to explain yourself. Peace is not found in constant expressions. Peace is found in conscious protection. There's a harsh truth most people are unwilling to accept. Not everyone who smiles at you, listens to you, or claims to care about you truly has your best interest at heart. And that's not a reason to become bitter, no, but it is a reason to become wise. When you choose to share the intimate parts of your life, your setbacks, your dreams, your fears, You are placing fragile pieces of yourself into someone else's hand, and not all hands are gentle. Some people are drawn to your vulnerability not out of love, but out of curiosity. They don't want to support you, they want to study you. They want to measure how far you've fallen or how far you're trying to climb. Your pain, your confusion, even your success. It becomes a mirror for their own insecurity, and instead of lifting you, they quietly begin to pull you down, piece by piece, thought by thought. You see, when a person doesn't truly want you to grow, they'll never say it directly. They'll do it in subtle ways. They'll question your decisions in a tone that sounds like concern but carries doubt. They'll listen to your ambitions, and instead of encouragement, they'll offer warnings, masked as advice. Are you sure that's going to work? Don't get your hopes up. You know, someone else tried that and failed, right? And slowly you begin to internalize their doubts as your own, not because they were right, but because you gave them access to a part of you that should have remained protected. This is why silence is not just about privacy, it's about preservation. You must learn to filter who gets access to your inner world, because once a person knows what matters most to you, they hold the power to either protect it or poison it. And most people, intentionally or not, don't know how to handle that kind of power responsibly. There are those who will smile in your face while secretly hoping to see you struggle. Not out of hatred, but because your success forces them to confront their own inaction. Your progress makes their excuses uncomfortable. Your resilience reminds them of everything they've neglected within themselves, and instead of facing that truth, they target you, quietly, through gossip, through subtle sabotage, through indifference, when you needed support the most. And I'm not telling you this to make you afraid of people. I'm telling you this so you can stop expecting loyalty from those who haven't earned it. Stop mistaking proximity for alignment. Just because someone has known you for years doesn't mean they understand your vision. Just because someone checks in on you doesn't mean they're rooting for you. People are very good at playing roles. They will perform empathy while feeding off your setback. They will play the friend while secretly competing with your progress. And the only way to protect yourself from that kind of silent betrayal is to give them less of you to work with. Keep your personal life guarded. Not hidden, but guarded. You don't need to announce your every move, your every struggle, your every plan. Let your actions speak for themselves. Let your growth confuse those who thought they knew everything about you. Let your peace disrupt those who tried to disturb you. When you stop oversharing, you force people to respect your boundaries, even if they don't understand them. It is far better to be underestimated in silence than to be attacked because you spoke too soon to the wrong people. Some of the deepest wounds are not caused by enemies. They're caused by people you trusted with your truth. And once that trust is broken, you can't get that piece of yourself back. So instead of handing out access and hoping for loyalty, observe, pay attention, trust slowly, share even slower, because not everyone who listens is listening to help. Some are listening to gain information, and information in the wrong hands becomes a weapon. If you want to move forward in life with clarity, with power, with focus, you must learn to protect your narrative. Don't let people write your story for you. Don't let their opinions become the voice in your head. Don't let their jealousy disguise itself as guidance. And don't give your truth to someone who hasn't proven they can carry it without dropping it. You don't owe your story to anyone who hasn't earned the right to hear it. There's a certain kind of power that can't be faked, bought, or taught. It comes only from knowing who you are and keeping just enough of yourself to yourself. We live in a world obsessed with exposure. People want to be seen, heard, validated. They want to tell the world what they're doing, who they're with, what their plans are, and how they feel every step of the way. But what they don't realize is the more they reveal, the more they weaken their influence. Mystery isn't about deception, it's about control. When you don't put every piece of your life on display, people are forced to respect the parts they don't understand. That lack of access makes them pause, makes them curious, and in that space between what they see and what they don't know, power is born. You gain control over the narrative, over your energy, over your identity, and when people can't predict your every move, they can't sabotage your direction. When they don't know your intentions, they can't interfere with your execution. You see, when you keep your personal life sacred, you don't just preserve peace, you preserve strength. You give yourself the room to grow, to stumble, to rise again without the noise of other people's projections clouding your path. There's a reason real transformation happens in silence. The caterpillar doesn't advertise its cocoon. It disappears, and when it returns, it no longer crawls. It flies. That's what self-discipline looks like. That's what internal power feels like. And you don't get there by explaining yourself to everyone who's watching. People respect what they can't figure out. That's the truth. The moment you speak less, share less, expose less, you begin to shift. You start to carry yourself with a quiet confidence. And the world notices, not because you're loud, but because your silence says more than noise ever could. When you hold back your thoughts, your plans, your emotions, people start to pay attention to your presence instead of your words. And presence, true grounded presence, commands more respect than any explanation ever will. The person who shares everything loses leverage. They become predictable, easy to read, easy to manipulate. But the person who knows how to pause, how to hold their tongue, how to walk away without needing to be understood, that person becomes untouchable. Because they've learned something most never will. Not everything is meant to be said. Not every emotion needs to be expressed. Not every move needs an audience. In fact, the more people know about your inner life, the more they feel entitled to speak on it. And when you're constantly seeking validation, constantly explaining or proving, you hand them the pen to write your story. Suddenly your identity is no longer in your hands. It's in theirs. They start to define who you are based on fragments of truth distorted by their own perspective. But when you move in silence, no one can twist what they don't know. No one can interfere with what they can't see. You become the author, the editor, and the publisher of your own life. And in doing so, you teach people how to treat you, not by demanding respect, but by showing restraint. Think of the people you admire most, truly admire. Are they the ones constantly telling you what they're feeling, what they're planning, what they're doing every minute of the day? Or are they the ones who let their work, their presence, their energy speak for them? The ones who say little but mean everything. That's not accidental. That's intentional. That's mastery. You don't need to announce your growth. It will show. You don't need to explain your healing. It will radiate. You don't need to justify your boundaries. They will be felt. When you move with purpose and protect your privacy, the world doesn't need to understand you to respect you. Let others waste time chasing attention. You chase impact. Let them spill every thought for reaction. You master the art of restraint. Let them expose every wound for sympathy. You do the work in silence and let the results echo what words never could. Respect isn't demanded, it's earned. And one of the fastest ways to earn it is to carry yourself like someone who doesn't need to be understood because you understand yourself.